Hi everybody, Nancy here. All right, we got a new update at last, right? Okay, and there's quite a few things on the list that are new, but I'm going to show you something that didn't even make the list, which makes me think that maybe he forgot about it because this is magic to me. This one thing, the use image as mask, is a new feature that if you didn't know it was there, you might not know it was there. And it, to me, is the best thing ever. It's another one of those, oh my gosh, oh, okay. So let me just show you. Now, there were a lot of things in this new release that probably I'm sure Ed will do something, even if it's just the help videos. But I'm not going to do all of those in this video. I'm just going to do this one thing because I think there's so much to show about it that it really would take forever to do everything. And if he doesn't do anything, maybe I'll come back and do some more videos. I definitely will with the watercolor brush because it is magic too. Oh my heavens. All right, for this one, if you go to the bucket fill, and if you've got, go to style, if you've got color selected, it looks like it always did. All right, nothing new. But if you choose image, the new thing is use image as mask. Well, until you toggle that on, nothing looks different. This is exactly the same thing as it was before. The only difference is that one line, use image as mask. Well, if you toggle that on, suddenly you've got a color bar. So what this will allow you to do is combine texture and color at the same time. So if you want pink polka dots with a yellow background, you can do that now. Or if you want red with white background, you can do that. Polka dot. All by having just one pattern. And then make it any color you want it. All right. Now, if you want to change the background, you will need to have the background already set. Because right now, it says, if you look at the question mark, it says this works best with transparent images. Now, as far as I can tell so far, it only works with transparent images or with a transparent background, a PNG file. If there's something solid about it, then that will be the thing that changes color. Hard to describe that. So if it's polka dots, it would need to be the solid is the polka dot. The background is transparent, all right? Or if the whole thing is transparent, then you can use it. Okay, let me give you an example of what I'm talking about here. If I go to my saved, which this is what's so awesome about it, I only have to save one pattern of polka dots. See these polka dots right here? Now I've got boo-koodles of them in a different list, in a different group. But just for the sake of this particular thing, all of these are transparent, translucent, and I titled my group that so that I would be able to quick spot it. But see the red dots and the gray background, that's the transparent part. So if I click on that as it is, right now it's going to be red polka dots. Let me see if I move this over. And I'm going to draw a shape just so that I can control the size of it. So I'm not making a huge, let me make that white. you know, a huge background or just anything light so you can see it. Now I'm going to just tap inside that so you can see the pattern inside that. Okay, so now I go back to fill, and my polka dots are selected. So if I tap on it, see my red polka dots with the brown background, because that's the color of my background. But if I select it and delete that, then I can go back to fill and go to the style. Right now I'm under save, but if I go to style and I change it to that color, then that's the color of my dots. Oh, happy day. All right. So think about the options here. See, if I go to, this is what I've been doing with it. If I go to the next page, see, you can have patterns or you can have textures. The top is, I did exactly what I just showed you for the top patterns. And then the bottom ones are the textures. I call them textures because they look, this particular texture I used here is stained glass texture, and or watercolor. You can use watercolor, stained glass, or just anything that's a texture, you know what I mean? Like leather. I've got a leather. If I go here, go back to the fill and go to the saved. See, I've got leather right here. So if I make it a little bit smaller and I tap, so I could make any color leather textured something, you know, like if I were wanting to create a binder, a book for the outside of my planner, I can make it any color leather that I want to. So if I undo that and go back to style and change the color to the green and tap, now I've got, see, that's a little bit harder to see, but that does have a leather texture there. Let me see if it's easier if I do a darker color. So I'm gonna undo that. A purple leather. Yeah, you can see that. Ah! Oh my gosh, I love this so much. So let's see, what did I want to tell you? Now, the way I'm getting all my textures and my patterns, first of all, if you want just a pattern, like the polka dots, let me go to my groups. Then you want the background to be transparent and the foreground. It doesn't matter what color you save it as, you can change it. So it's not like it has to be black and transparent. It just has to be, I'm going to say a solid. So if I do this particular, well, let's do the chevron. See how it's gray in the background? That means that's transparent. So now if I tap, right now it would be black and white or black and transparent. If I go to the style and click turn on use image as mask, now it'll be any color I make it. Oh my gosh, magic. Now, the beauty of that is you don't have to change, you don't have to save all of the patterns as unique colors. You just have to save a pattern, and then that will change to any color. You know what I'm saying? So you just have to have one single save for the pattern, and then you can do it any color you want to. All right. So let me show you an example of something else that I've done. I'll go to the next page. See, and to do this pattern texture thing, It was just bam, bam, bam. You know, just filling. It's like coloring, a coloring book. See, like this one right here. I just took a watercolor texture. Well, I think I probably used a stained glass texture. I used a couple on this flower thing, and just filled in, just tapped on the space to fill in the area. And I just used that as, you know, a bookmark that I wanted to use for, just to have some reason that I did that. And then I figured out that if I took the bucket with a solid color and just got the black for that pattern, I just used the fill bucket and tapped on it with a black color, and that then became a shape, because I don't know if you noticed, but I pretty much on all of them I have create filled shape. So whenever you do that, then you can take the shape properties and use those. And I always use the drop shadow, and you see that's how I got the drop shadow on. Sorry, it's there. Okay, see how it's got a drop shadow behind, so now it looks like it's clear, transparent. Love it. And for the B, I just took a font and I used the outline version of that font. Now that particular font, let me see if I go to A, and oh, that's a different one. Let's see. This Beardson Normal, I'm pretty sure I got that for free. I usually get all my fonts from DeFont, and they're free. So that's that font. I was actually thinking about making a whole new font set that was already created, with all I had to do was type in the letter, but this is just too easy to do. Find a font that you like, and then do a circle shape and put that font in it. So if I type in B, now I'm going to select all and make it bigger. Make it as big as you want. And I also, now I could just tap on that B and make it, that be the pattern. Well, let me do it both ways. So if I do that, and then I tap off and I duplicate that, go to duplicate. I don't know if it did it or not. Okay. Okay, and then I go to the text, select it, select all. Come on. Now I will say this, doing all of these different patterns on a bunch of different pages will slow things down. Okay, so just be aware of that. Though I love it so much that I don't care. All right, so now I've got to select it, and I'm going to make that the outline instead of the fill. And that way I can take advantage of that black border. So if I go to, go back to the bucket, and I choose one of these patterns, I'm going to go back to the watercolor masking group, and if I use one of these up at the top and I tap on it, I'm tapping on the solid letter. Now if I move that, see, I've just created a, I'm going to call it a stained glass. Now it's watercolor, but it looks like stained glass to me. But if I do the same exact thing, do the bucket fill, and I fill in the blank one, Then I've got what I would say is the leading, Leading. If you ever do stained glass, you know what I'm talking about. So now I've got the leading around the letter, and I just draw a circle shape or an oval. That works. And I actually like that better. And then I draw black lines. Oops, way too thick. Just in various places. Now, if you're doing real stained glass, I don't know if I mentioned I used to do stained glass. You have to cut glass so that the cuts you're making won't break. And that's why you have certain, like I know that this particular, I couldn't cut this out because this little dip right here, see, I'm not going to make a line there just because it would, in this picture, it's just noise. But you couldn't cut that piece. It would run, it would break, you'd never make it happen. But, you know, for this, you can fake it. All right, so now I go to the bucket tool again, using the same pattern, but I'm going to change the color to, I'm going to change it to that color, to tan maybe, and tap in each one of these spaces, and it gives it a background that looks kind of like stained glass to me. Oh my gosh, I love Zoom Notes. Y'all just don't even know. Now, it is taking a second for it to do the fill, because I'll tap on it. I'm steady talking, but I'm tapping while I'm talking to fill in these spaces, and it does take a minute. Now, see, it looks like stained glass, but it's still not there because it doesn't have the drop shadow yet. So if I zoom in on it, and then I do a fill on top of the black, and I just use the black fill, go to the fill tool again, come on, and I go back to style and just do color, and then I'm going to change the color to black. Now, this would have been easier if I had made the oval and the outline a different color besides black, because it's hard to see when it happens when you're using the same color. So basically what I'm doing is creating a shape of the outline, and then I can use the drop shadow for it. And I can't tell if it's even done it yet. So you kind of want to, you know, it would have been better, like I said, if I had started with the outline as a different color. So when I did put the black on top of it, you would be able to see it happen. Let me see if I change that color to something else, to gray, and do tap. See, yeah, you can see it a whole lot faster. Now I'm having to piecemeal it to do it, but when I did it the first time, all these blacks, because they were touching, it all selected at the same time, so it made it a single shape that I was able to see. Like, this is going to be way too many shapes for me to do what I want to do with it. But you know, if I do a drop shadow from that shape now, so if I select this and do drop shadow, again, it's a shape. So if I've got it selected. So I go here to shape properties, and go to style and put on drop shadow. See it did just that one piece. Let me see if I can select more and do more. I kind of don't think I can, but I'm not sure. Shape properties. Yeah, it let me. So just select all, and it let me change it. Okay, so see how it's now got, it's still not there. Now you still see the gray that I added. But anyway, you're getting the point. If you create the black on top of the leading, then to create a shape, then you can add the drop shadow, and that gives the 3D effect of stained glass. That's where I was going with that. Now, there's several ways to create a pattern. First of all, you've got your normal polka dots and whatever you're using already. But if you want to be able to use, let me give you an example of, let me go to the bucket, and I'm going to go to a pattern that is not currently transparent. So if I go to groups and I just pick this black and white boss lady list, see, I've got a whole bunch of patterns on this that I actually think that these are some that I also created using brushes. So see, they're not solid in the back, so that's not the example I want to use. So this one right here, see how it's white and black and gold? So if I tap on it here, then it's a solid thing, and I can't do the color change to it. So I need to undo that and just create a pattern and do the fill again. All right, now I'm going to take that into the edit. Well, it won't let me. That's because it's a shape. See there? So I need to undo that. So if I go back to the fill, sorry, learn as you go here. And I go to the bucket, go to style and turn off fill shape, and I tap inside of it. Now if I take that image, I can take that into here and make a square out of it. Done. And do. Now see, I know that this still is still solid, so I'm not going to be able to change it. But if I take this into transparency and tap out all the white, let me make it a whole lot. Now those little polka dots, I don't know. If I get all of them on the stripes, then there won't be little. See, if I left them, then they would be the color of the stripe. The stripe is what I'm going to be able to change now. So if I do save, and let's see that's transparent. Now I do copy, and that puts it on the pasteboard. So I do copy, and then I go to the bucket tool, and I do from pasteboard. So now I can change to use image, and see how the lines automatically turned white. But if I go to color and I pick a new palette and go back. See, my lines are going to be whatever lines I want to put. All right. So that's how you take an existing pattern that has a background. You're going to have to get rid of the transparency is basically what I'm trying to say here. But that's a good pattern. So now I can save that, to go to saved, and I'm going to change the group and put it under transparent so that I know that it is transparent, and go back to here and do plus. So see, it's going to be saved at the bottom as green, but that doesn't matter because I can change it to any color I want to now. All right. Now that's how you get, or how you can get patterns from existing patterns that you've already got. But I know I've said this before if you've been around long enough. But when I first started using Zoom Notes, it was my goal, and I refused to use any other package in conjunction with Zoom Notes, because I believe to the core of me that anything you can do in another package, you can do in Zoom Notes, especially art-wise. However, I've changed my way of thinking because Procreate, there's so many designers in the world creating brushes for Procreate specifically. I mean, thousands and thousands of brushes, and I'm doing my best to collect them all. You know, but I don't use the brushes in Procreate. I use them from Procreate in Zoom Notes. Now, you can't use them as a brush, but you can make an image and use that image. So if I go to Procreate, I don't think of Procreate as a competition. I think it's a good add-on for Zoom Notes, okay? So if I go, I'm going to select this one right here. It doesn't matter which one. But this is an example of a pattern. I'm going to get rid of it. Well, it won't let me. Let's see. Do a new layer. Do plus. And then make that the only layer that you see. All right, so now if I go to the brushes, this particular set that I just downloaded this week because of Zoom Notes, all these are stained glass textures, and they're all brushes for Procreate. All right, so what you would do for an example like this particular brush is just color it. Fill up a good size shape. Now I showed a different way to take advantage of a repeating pattern from Procreate, but you're not going to be able to use that for this purpose. I'll show you in a second what I'm talking about. Okay, so I've got enough of the pattern here that I can use it. But see, if I go to the brush and I click on it, it opens up this thing, and if I click on grain, there's the pattern. And it's good to be able to use this as a pattern because of the repeat. It's going to be a good clean repeat if you take a screenshot and crop out just this pattern right here. But the problem is it does save it with the background, so it's not transparent or translucent. So you can't do that in this circumstance. So I'm going to do done. What I have to do now, and it doesn't matter what color I saved it or what color I painted it. Now I'm going to go to the layers, and I have to turn off the background color so that it looks like you can't even see what's there now. You see that darker spot in the middle? That's what I want to save. If I save it with the background, it no longer is translucent. So I have to turn that off and then go to the tool and save as a ping. And I always just copy it just to put it on the clipboard so that I save too much stuff on all my different places to save things, you know. So I just copy it. And then I open up Zoom Notes again. I'm going to go to another page. Create a page. Let's see. +1 to the right. Okay. Now I'm going to paste it into Zoom Notes. That's what I just saved and copied. I didn't save it. I just copied it onto the clipboard. Now I'm going to go to the edit window and square this off so that there's no white around it. Do done. Then go to the bucket and under style, well, first of all, I have to select this and put it on the pasteboard. So I have to select it and copy it, because right now what's on there is the one that's got the rough edges, and I just want the straight edges this way. There's not going to be space around it where you've got like polka dot looking patterns. If there's no space around the pattern, then it's going to fill the whole page. So if I go back to functions, no, it's copied. Copy. Now go back to the bucket. Then do from pasteboard. See, I've just put that pattern, and it's right now it's going to be green. So if I tap on the, well, you can't see the pattern because it's too bright under it. But let me go to, let's see. If I make the pattern bigger, you can see it better. See? Ta-da! If I decide I do undo and I want to make that yellow or green, tap. See, again, it's when it's too bright, you can't see the pattern, but undo. So basically what I'm saying is, if you get the patterns from the downloads that you can get for free from the, let's see, what is it called? Digital scrapbooking site or the Penguin site, you can just search for textures and use those here the same way I just did with the brushes. Then this is how you would do it. Now, see, and then all you have to do, again, I think I haven't said this yet, but you just have to save the pattern, not every version of the pattern, every color that's possible. See, now this pattern, okay, if I use that and I tap, then that's what I get. Undo that. If I go to style and change, no, if I go back, sorry. What am I doing here? Oh, it's because I don't have use image as mask. I couldn't find the color. So now those polka dots are going to be any color that I want them. Okay. And again, the back is transparent. It's hard to tell. See? So the solid turns into the color. That's what I'm trying to say. All right. And then if it's not solid in the background, then it will be a pattern as opposed to polka dots. It'll be a texture. Sorry. I don't know how hard it is for me sometimes. So if I go to saved and I go to the group that has the transparency, the watercolor masking, go back. See, if I do gingham, right now it's red, but that I can change that, you know. Tap, I've got a red gingham. Undo, go back to the style, change the color to purple. Now I've got a purple gingham. All right. And I think, I'm almost positive I got that texture from a brush in Procreate and saved it without the background so that the whole thing was translucent. All right. Okay, I think I've beat that horse pretty dead. So I'm going to go ahead and stop here. Hopefully if you have any questions, just ask. You know, I'm always happy to help. So just ask, and I will probably do some more videos, especially on the watercolor brush, because that, again, is magic. All right. Y'all have a great day here. Bye.